inside of the 5, hurdles his way into the end zone. Was it caught? It was! Touchdown, Evan Stewart.
It's really incredible how they work. They don't blame, they don't complain. They just come up here every single day and work their tails off.
Up the middle, Buster 5, 3, 2, lowers his head into the end zone.
I'm just ready to attack it and figure out what we're really great at, what we got to improve at. That's the fun part for me, is what problems do we get to solve.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
It is Wednesday night everywhere along the West Coast, and in Eugene, Oregon. That means it's time for the Toyota Coaches Show. Hi, everybody. Welcome in Jerry Allen, Jorgie, and our guest coach tonight. I'm anxious to talk to him about his tight end room. Drew Mehringer joins us tonight.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Glad to be here.
Our Toyota Coaches Show. We're in the Country Financial Studio once again. Coach, we want to find out about how you got with Dan Lanning, how you came to Oregon, but we can't start there. We got to go back to when you were just a little guy and you got interested in football. Let's take us back to being a kid and how this all started.
Okay. So I actually did not want to play football. My dad was like, no son of mine is not playing football, you know.
In the state of Texas.
Right. He was like, this is actually not a choice. And by the way, you're playing linebacker. And I was like, perfect, you know. So he made me go out my 7th grade year. I actually hated it for the first week. And then they moved me to the offensive side of the football. And I got to play quarterback, and I fell in love with playing the game. And then, you know, God takes you in crazy places, and you finally end up at a phenomenal place like this one. So, but yeah, it's been, for me, kind of a long, crazy journey. You know, everybody hopes that they play forever. I didn't. I got hurt my freshman year of college. But, you know, divine providence here in your life, right? You end up becoming a student assistant coach, and now that's what I do for a living. So it's been great.
Led you down the path of student assistant and then graduate assistant and then everywhere else, and we'll be able to get there with that piece of it. But what was it like growing up in Texas? I mean, you just took us down some of our memory lane from Grants Pass and Ontario, the small towns of Oregon. Yeah. So, you know, talk about growing up in Texas.
Texas is a phenomenal place. All my family's still there. I think that, you know, football is you know, second only to the church probably in that state. It's religion out there. Friday nights, you know, all your stores are closed down. There's no place to go because everybody's at the football game. So you kind of have to love football in that state. And so for us, it was fun. Where I grew up on the south side of the Metroplex, like everything south of us was farmland and ranch land, and everything north of us was city. So it was kind of an interesting blend of people growing up there. And so just me and my brother, and you know, everything from getting out in the country and, you know, messing around, shooting guns, to, you know, playing football. That's all you had to do. So it was great.
How old was your brother?
My brother's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Competitive?
Very competitive. If you walked in this room right now, you would not know that's my brother. My brother's all of about 5'7.5", 5'8", probably 145 pounds. He's dark complected with freckles and stuff like that, so we don't look anything alike, but he looks a lot like my dad. I look a little bit more like my mom, but great dude, phenomenal golfer. I wasn't allowed to play golf because my brother that was kind of his deal, and I was better at some of the other stuff than him. So but I try to play a little bit now, and he beats me pretty regularly when we play, but it's fun. You know, it's competitive, so I like it.
You might have been one of us up here hosting the show, interviewing and doing some sports play-by-play. You said that's what you wanted to do at one point in your life, and that's why I asked you. I don't see that. I don't hear that Texas drawl. Where are you from? Texas?
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I thought I was going to be a sportscaster or something like that, and Cool. It just didn't. It didn't pan out. You know, I liked the game actually more. So, but yeah, when I was a little kid, I purposely tried to like drown out a little of that Texas accent. And you know, kind of always like my dad was like, what do you know, like why, like what are you doing, you know? But I just didn't, you know, I wanted to, you know, people to you know, respect me. Maybe I could be in different regions or different markets and stuff like that. So yeah, not as much of a Texas accent, and you know, coaching kind of takes you all over the place now, you know. Hopefully not anymore, kind of like it here. So it's been pretty great. But you end up in all kinds of places like South Florida for me, and New Mexico and Iowa and some of these places. And so some of it kind of goes away. I feel like when I go back home, like my wife's like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? But you just got to get back around it,
That's funny. When we visit Texas or the South, we come back trying to talk like that. I mean, that that accent.
Yeah.
You love that.
You want to
You
because
want
it's
to,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, in the South, why would you say something if you can't say it in some funny, like, unique metaphorical way? You know what I mean? There's always some crazy way of explaining something. It takes way too long, but it's way too funny. So I like it. It's been fun.
We get a chance to talk about wife and family, an important part of your life, obviously.
Yeah.
You have been and been able to experience a lot of different places. Ohio State, Iowa, played at Rice, Rutgers. I could probably go Texas, Houston. You've experienced a lot of places. How has that helped you through the travels and to be able to be here?
I think that number one, you kind of never know where you're going to end up in life, right? We always have these kind of like grandiose plans of like how it's going to go, and we all know like life just is not that smooth. It takes you down different roads in different places, and I think the first thing that you learn, number one, like for me, like right out of college, when I left Rice, I couldn't decide if I was going to be a lawyer or a politician or a football coach, and I was getting ready to move to Argentina. And I got talked into interviewing for the GA job at Iowa State and ended up getting that job. And the first thing I think you learn is that, like, hey, you can survive on your own, you know what I mean? And kind of, at 21 years of age, right, you're cutting the cord, like, for real. Like, college is like this purgatorial period in your life, right, where it's like you're kind of on your own, but you're kind of not, you know what I mean? And so it was like, pack up, I didn't own anything hardly at all. Like it all could fit in my, single cab truck, and I could just drove it up there. And then you end up at places like Ohio State, right? It's, awesome tradition that's been going on for a very, very long time to, for me, James Madison, right, which was a struggling program at the time when we got there, right, that had traditionally been a good program, but they weren't having the same success. So, and that's in, nowhere, Virginia, Harrisonburg, Virginia, and so all the way out to New Mexico, South Florida, all these places. And so you find out that people are just people, and people have different values and different ways of living, right? But there's good people everywhere. They may prefer different kinds of foods. They may, look a little bit different, or it doesn't matter. Like there's really, really good people, hardworking, blue collar people everywhere you go. And if you're great with them, they'll be great with you. I've really enjoyed it. Like my wife and I talk about this all the time. Like if we hadn't been in this job, like I would not have seen nearly as much of this great country as I have. I mean, I've lived in, I think this is like number 10 or something like that for me. Different places all over the country. So I think it's pretty cool. Kind of, a little bit of a unique perspective on this country and the kind of the places that you can go and live, and like, it's been fun. I've been very thankful for that. I read a statistic one time that said 90% of people live within 90 miles of where they grew up, and that struck me as somebody that hasn't had that, in my life. At times, do I wish that we were closer to my family? Yeah, I do. Like, it'd be awesome, especially now that we got 3 kids. But it's cool that we have a broader perspective of the world, and it's kind of forced us as a family unit to be a little bit closer. So
you had you played at Rice and then coaching, but you had a life-changing experience that occurred. Talk about that a little bit and how it changed your perspective on life.
Okay, so when I was a sophomore in college, we went on, me and one of my roommates kind of went on this. It was when, AC/DC and we saw Boston, AC/DC. We saw, I saw Eric Clapton. I saw Creedence. I saw, well, at least one of the Fogerty, John Fogerty. And anyways, so we kind of like, all these guys are like kind of on these like farewell tours, and we're like, hey, like we got one chance to go see these guys. Let's go do it, So we went to Van Halen. Van Halen was awesome. As we're leaving Van Halen, I was running, I tripped and fell, and I hit my head on the concrete, and ended up having like it's called a subdural hematoma. and so just a brain bleed, and it put me in a coma for 3 days, and I had a life-saving brain surgery that night. So very thankful that at that time my roommate, Will, his name's Will Shapa, one of the funniest people I've ever met, had the wherewithal, like, to stop the train and call an ambulance, right? Because I probably don't make it if that happens. But yeah, so you come out of the coma, and life is like, everyone kind of explains what's going on, and you're like, what am I doing here? And then so you have this like realization, right? Like, hey, number one, like I probably need to change some things in my life. Life wasn't, tracking the way that it probably was. Probably need to take some more responsibility for what's going on in my life and the decisions that I make. I think more importantly for me, at least, right, it was like a realization again that, your faith was lacking in my life at that time, and it's something that needed to be not only much more of a priority, but like singularly like the biggest priority in my life. And we all go through phases in life, right, where it's like, hey, we're on the right track, right, and then we get distracted with whatever it is. Like we've all been there. But I literally like got rid of like everything in my life. I was dating this wonderful girl, and we had to break up. Like I was like, I have to figure out life here, and so since then I write. It's actually kind of on my hand right now. No reserve, no retreat, no regret on my hand. It's a story of if you've ever seen Borden Milk, it's the one with the cartoon cow on it. Yeah. So their son, the heir, William Borden, was heir to the family fortune, and his dad wanted him to go to business school and figure out how to run the company. He didn't really want to do that. So his dad kind of made him, went to a couple Ivy League schools, graduated, and then one night disappeared. And couldn't figure out where he was, and they found out that he was a missionary, or he had quit to become a missionary, and he was in Mongolia. And so they found him, and he had died of spinal meningitis like 6 months after arriving. And in the Bible, they found no reserve, no retreat, no regret. And the theory was, or the deal is that like he gave everything he had, there was nothing left, no reserve. He was never going to go back to the way that he was, right? And he had no regrets about the decisions that he made. So it kind of hit me at the right time. And so I've tried to live my life that way, so that when I die at some point, that I can say that I honestly did that. So not
it's
perfect
amazing.
at all, but it's a good reminder. I'm going to get asked why I don't get it tattooed on my hand. Koa, our quarterbacks coach, asks me every day. And it's because if it's tattooed, I don't have to make the decision to write it. And so if I have to make the decision to write it, then I have to make the decision to think about it and live it. So it creates a little bit of intent or intention.
Every day is a blessing, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So as you're not promised
regardless
tomorrow.
of the situation, regardless of how good it is or how bad it is, every day is a blessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're certainly not promised tomorrow. So make the most of it today.
Kind of understand why I always see, when I look at you, you seem to have a happy face because you get life.
Yeah.
You get life.
We're blessed. We're always blessed.
Yeah.
And like I said, anything can be taken away from you at any point. We could be in far worse situations, I think, certainly being here. It's been fun.
Now, Drew Mehringer is our guest coach tonight, Pepsi Coaches Interview. Want to find out how he got to Oregon. How did that all happen? How did that come about? He's been here with Coach since Coach got here. We'll come back and get that story. Also, got to learn a little bit about Rutgers. I mean, he was there for a while, so he's got to have a big book of secrets, right? I would think. We're back with more on the Toyota Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Football the way you like it.
Woo! That was some football.
The Oregon Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen Jorge and Drew Mehringer, our guest coach tonight. We haven't even gotten into football and talked about the game itself, but we're going to do that. It's our Toyota Coaches Show and our Pepsi Coaches Interview. Coach, we're going to talk about how you ended up here at Oregon with Coach, but we've got to find out about the family first, because you've got a pretty good family going.
So I went from a person. So when my wife and I were dating, she was like, "Hey, you want kids?" And I was like, "Not really," you know. And she was like, "Well, it's kind of like a deal breaker." And I was like, "Okay, like you're like the only person in the world I'm willing to concede here for." So, we just had let's see. Just going on about a little less than 2 weeks ago, we had our third child.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. I've got a 3.5-year-old boy. I've got a 2-year-old girl and a newborn girl. So it's kind of chaotic in the house, but thankfully my wife is amazing, and she's got a lot of that stuff figured out, I guess, or at least is trying to. She does a phenomenal job. So, but yeah, it's been fun. You know, I've had a couple sleepless nights, you know, but that's part of it, you know. It's worth it.
I remember those, they used to call those the terrible twos. They seem like that now. But when you get older, you'll look back on them, and they weren't that terrible back then. So, but challenging.
Certainly challenging, I think. You know, I was talking to a guy, though, that said, he gave me a really good piece of advice. He was like, you know, it feels like when they're young, like you have forever with your kids. And nobody that I talk to says that they felt like they had enough time with their kids. They always wanted more. And you're going to, as a parent, want to hope that, can't wait for them to get to the next stage. I can't wait for them to start walking or talking or, you know, being able to, like, do sports. And then you're going to, like, get to a point where you're like, man, I wish I could just keep them this age forever. And he was like, you know, my piece of advice for you is, like, try and enjoy every single moment. Like, the terrible twos are not fun, not all the time, right? But there's unbelievable moments in them, and you're going to wish that they were that small at some point. You know, they're going to be, you know, at that 13, 14-year-old age, and you're like, golly, I wish I could go back, you know. But you got to enjoy them at, you know, where they're at. So I've been trying really hard to do that. I thought it was a really good piece of advice.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, awesome. we know that when mama's happy, everybody's happy, and
right.
So boss of the house. What about the two oldest kids? Who's kind of taking command of? They're only a year apart or so.
Yeah.
Is there one that's taken command of the other, or do they?
So my son would like to think, he's the oldest. Maddox would like to think that he's kind of in charge. He'll tell my middle daughter Mila, like, no, Mila, right? But he doesn't realize that Mila does not care what he has to say at all. Which is like, I was thinking about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my daughter. I can already see, like, she's got this huge personality, right? You know, and so like Mila runs the house, like, kind of revolves around Mila. Maddox likes to think that he does, but no, it's Mila's show.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
All right, let's take you to present time or close to it. 2021, I think you were in New Mexico then. Were you in New Mexico when you get the call from Dan Lanning? How did that happen? How did that come together?
I was talking to funny like that. Thinking about it feels like yesterday. We were sitting in our kitchen, my wife and I, and New Mexico. We were at the tail end of we didn't have the season that we wanted to have, and my wife is like, in this job, like you need to win, and winning is important. And she was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, I'm not sure, and it was about, I don't know, like a couple hours later, like I get a call from my agent and he's like, "Hey, do you want to interview for the tight ends job at Oregon?" And I was like, "I will crawl there." And he was like, "I'm not, there's no promises or anything like that, So I was like, "Whatever you need me to do, I'll do." And so, then you start doing research on Dan. I didn't know Dan at all. Like I didn't know. I had met Kenny briefly one time, but I didn't really know anybody else on staff. And so I did the interview with Coach Lanning and Marshall, and Kenny was on there. And my wife was like, "How do you think it went?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, fine. I think it went good, but like the chances of like." Number one, getting to work at a place like Oregon are pretty low, like there's not that many of these jobs in the world, Number two, like you just, like he's coming from the SEC, like we don't really know any of the same people, blah, blah, blah. Like, so he calls me probably like, I don't know, it was probably a week later, maybe 10 days later at most or whatever. And he was like, "How would you like to be a Duck?" And I was like, "When do you want me there? I can be there in 4 hours." Like, which is cool, like talking about family stuff. And he was like, family situation, and we were getting ready to have our first child. And so he hired me in December, and our first child was going to be born in January. So me and my wife were having the conversation of like, "Hey, how are we going to do this? Are you going to be on the road recruiting? Are you going to come back for the birth or whatever?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I kind of really don't know what Coach Lanning's policy is on this." And Coach Lanning called me back and he was like, "Hey, are you about to have a kid?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, well, just come to work whenever that's done." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "I don't, it's going to probably be at the end of it." And he's like, No. You need to be there. Like, you need to be, like, don't, like, Oregon football. We'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Make sure you're
amazing. There. That's great.
And so I've been super thankful for that. Like, and he's been very consistent with that. So I was able, like, no issues there for the birth of our first child. And so it made, like, coming into the Oregon football program pretty cool. And, like, I remember the first day that I walked into this spaceship of a building, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this," And they showed me my office and I was like, "I think that's Kenny's office. This is like way too big," And they were like, "No, that's you." And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." So yeah, it's been fun. So yeah, that's how I ended up at Oregon. By the grace of God here. So I'm very thankful for it.
You've had a lot of those. I call those God winks. That's one of those times in your moment when something happens that you need something to happen, and it does.
Yes. Yeah.
Really cool.
That's it.
Talk about what it's been like then. I mean, Coach Lanning is, pretty special. Family means a lot. And his football team is family, isn't it?
Very much so, I think. Even like Bear just walked in. Like I didn't know Bear probably this year. And I talked to Bear like relatively frequently, across all positions. And, Bear gives me a hug every now and then, right? Like, I love that stuff, right? And it's cool to be a part of a group of people that obviously share a collective goal, right? Like, that's the thing that keeps you coming back to this sport. It's not the easiest life that you're going to ever live, but all of these people pushing in one direction for one common goal is pretty fun. And but the day-to-day of being around people that you legitimately love and care about, and there's not a whole lot of ego. Hey, you were wrong, I was wrong. Great, let's figure out a way we can do this and get this better. Right? We all want the same thing. Like, it's been fun. It's been so fun, and Coach Lanning's created an unbelievable culture, and it allows people from all walks of life to come in here, right? And it has nothing to do with what you look like, where you come from. Like, I was not the flashiest hire that he could have made. He could have hired a lot of people, and he hired the quarterback's coach from New Mexico to come here. So it's everything about like who you are, what you can you get the job done, right? And are you going to work and no ego, right? Are you willing to go get a cup of coffee for somebody? Doesn't matter what you do, and if you have that mentality, I think then you fit in really, really well here. If you're just willing to work, and willing to push toward the common goal of winning.
Speaks volumes about head coach Dan Lanning and you and the rest of the coaching staff, because you guys all seem like a big family. The culture, the culture.
This is the only place legitimately in my career that I've gone on vacation with people that I actually work with. So I was on vacation with Will and Tosh, right, and their wives, and I was like sitting there and we were having dinner one night, and I was like, guys, legitimately, like, this is rare, like that, like I see you guys every day. You know what I mean? Like most of the time I'm like, I don't ever want to see you again. But like you're like you like love these people and care about these people, and like for me, like I coached Rashad. I was at Rutgers, with Ross. Like I know these people like their family. Like one of the new guys here on staff, one of our analysts, Parker Fleming. Like I've known him since 2012. Like so, like there's some like really really like great connections here that make this job, like besides it just being Oregon, like the best job in the entire country.
I suppose we should
didn't
talk
even get
about
to
football.
Rutgers, did we?
No,
I
want just a quick tight end room. I mean, you got one of the premier tight ends in the nation.
Yeah, we got Kenyon's pretty good. I think Jamari Roger, those guys, Cade. I think and AJ and Vander, those guys those are all Zach. I forgot about Zach, but it's a really fun room. It's like one of the most fun rooms I've ever coached. So if not the most fun. So Kenyon's fun to coach. He's easy to coach. It's just like at times it's like, yeah, just make sure you don't mess him up. You know what I mean? But great kid, super talented. But I think that aside from like looking like an action figure when he walks on the field, he's just yoked out of his mind. And running really fast and scoring touchdowns all over the place, whatever. Like it's cool to watch the work behind all of that for him to like it's really easy to see the Instagram clips, right, of him hurdling the guy, you know what I mean, scoring, in the Big Ten championship and all that stuff. But like how much work that kid puts in to be able to be the person that he is pretty special. It's very, very rare. I mean, I'm here pretty early. Like I'm here at 5:30, and Kenyon's red truck is generally parked in the parking garage when I pull in. So. Wow. So I have all of the stuff that he has coming towards him. It's because of all the work that he's put in when no one's watched.
He's earned it. 10 years ago, Rutgers. So a lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
What can you getting ready for?
What can you share?
Can we ask you?
Not that much, but whatever you can.
Rutgers. That was a long time now. It feels like. Super thankful for my time at Rutgers. I'm in a group chat with the quarterbacks that I coach there to this day. So if you happen to be in Long Island, one of them just opened up a new gym. It's called Good Culture if you're interested. Different, like obviously like you're just south of New York City, completely different vibe going on in the culture around the university and stuff like that. It's very different. They're going to walk out to the Sopranos theme song, which is just like right on par, you know what I mean? With the head coach, like he's Tony Soprano. Yeah. But there'll be a good crowd. They're going to come out. They're going to be very supportive when that program is playing well. There's a lot of support that goes around it, so it'll be a really good environment and a fun one for our players to be in. Night games are generally pretty fun there. They got I think it's like 35 to 40,000 students. They'll be ready to go out there. So
and they're playing some good football right now.
They are playing.
They're dangerous.
I think so. I think that they're a well coached team. They play as hard as anybody. Like they play very hard. They play very physical. They haven't gone into halftime in a single game this year where they haven't been tied or leading. And so there's a lot, like they're doing a lot of things right there. And that's for them, like they're competing again, in their regional area, right? They got Ohio State, Penn State, right? They got some like stiff competition for like their, local area recruits. And so I think they're, Coach Giano's obviously been there before. But he's doing a great job there, and so we have a lot of respect for that program. It's going to be a great test for us.
Looking forward to it. I can't wait for it. It's a long trip across the country, but Ducks have been there before, so we'll be ready for that. Coach, I just want to say thank you. To learn more about you, your life, and for coming to Oregon and staying here at Oregon. And I hope you're here. I hope we get to interview you 10 years from now.
Dude, sign me up, man. Okay. Sign me up. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Drew Mehringer, tight ends coach here at the University of Oregon. The Big Bear is in the house. Joey's got him next, or Bear's got Joey. I'm not sure which. Yeah. All ahead on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck football comes your way in 60 seconds.
That ball came out, and Oregon has it.
On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio along with Bear Alexander here on the Oregon Football Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mac. All right, Bear, we have a tradition. You might have seen it on your way in. I imagine you're a pretty competitive guy, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the goal here is as close to 2 minutes as possible. I'm going to ask you for your 2-minute life story, all right? So think about it. 2-minute life story. I'm going to start the timer. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 2-minute life story, Bear Alexander, go.
2-minute life story, man. I grew up in Terrell, Texas.
Okay.
You know, my dad was a coach, so we kind of transitioned a lot. And, you know, we won a state championship my junior year at Den Ryan. And transition, went to IMG. You know, we won a significant amount of games. We was loaded and stacked that year. End up committing to Georgia, go to Georgia, you know, play ball out, win a natty. Transition, go to SC. Season go how it goes. You know, we ended up 6-6. Ended up parting ways. We're here in Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon in 39.04 seconds. An efficient life story. All right. I have multiple follow-ups for you. You mentioned your dad. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, your dad being a coach. What was that like for you growing up? Getting coached a little bit, I'd imagine, by your dad.
Yeah, it was fun and exciting, man. You know, he was always on my tail at practice about the little things. So, really just being able to share that experience with him.
Do you still like hear him sometimes when you're at practice today?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, all right, radio and TV appropriate. What does he say? What's in your mind? What are the takeaways that you still have from him?
He just always, man, my dad crazy. You know, he's screaming, he yelling. Come on, man. He fired up, like, get loose, get ready, get going. Like, he trying to get me pumped and fired and ready to go.
I'm curious, too. You were on so many, you alluded to it, like winning championships. You've been on so many good teams.
Yes, sir.
What are the common traits, if there are some, of those good teams that you've been a part of? Like, what are some of the keys to success?
You know what Coach Lanning preached, man, just that connection piece. I felt like this take me back to IMG. When you look up, you see Tyler Booker, Katron Allen, you know, just elite guys, Jahai Campbell. Then you look up my freshman year at Georgia, we loaded there, the running back room, Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing here. It's stacked and it's it's elite guys in every room. So just that connection piece, man, and how you able to connect with the locker room and pretty much build from there.
Well, and you've now been a guy who's come into Oregon, right, and been part of that connection. Somebody else maybe who comes into another program later, what advice do you give them? How have you gone about that connection piece and ingratiating yourself into a locker room?
Man, it's all right to step out your comfort zone. You know, like our coaches pride themselves on, man, no shortcuts. So just coming in, putting in that extra overtime and putting in the hours, like understanding you got a clean slate and it's okay to start from scratch.
You touched on the coaching staff a little bit. Describe Coach Lanning for fans. What's it like playing for him?
Man, it's fun to play under Coach Lanning. You know, it's exciting, especially anytime you got a coach that's going to rip you and really coach you for real. Like, that's what it all boils down to. And at the end of the day, he loves his guys. You know, that's what you really want, and that connection with a coach. Like,
you said, like, something that a lot of student athletes have said when we've talked to him, that he just seems to be so authentic. Like, how has your relationship grown with him? I mean, you've known him now a long time. How has your relationship grown with Coach Lanning?
Now, me and Coach getting close, like, we understood our goals and what we had to attack. You know, I had a lot of growth and areas I still had to grow and improve from. So just being in his office, like, he used to tell me, man, you're more in my office than Dante and Decory and Moore. Like, so at the end of the day, like, I think that's what it boiled down to, man, just putting in that extra time and being able to pick Coach's brain.
So you're putting in that extra time. Now I'm curious. Go back to young Bear. Like, when did you fall in love with football?
Man, really around middle school. Like when I knew I had to give up hooping and basketball, of course, because my bigger brother played, but really just around middle school when I knew I had a true shot.
All right. So did you have a play where you're like, oh, I'm better than everybody else?
Nah, it wasn't just that one play. It was just growing that love and passion for the game. Like, knowing my dad was my basketball coach too, so once he told me freshman year you got to put the rock down, like that's when it truly just stuck with me and resonated.
Okay. So if you weren't playing football, you'd be a basketball player?
For sure.
What position?
Point.
Yeah!
I always say I can distribute the floor, man.
Okay, so I asked this now to a lot of Oregon football players, okay? And I know you're still newer to the team here, so I understand it's a little bit of an unfair question. But I'm just going to give you – obviously you're the starting point guard of the Oregon football basketball team now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Who's your other four? Who are you playing with? Who's your starting five of the Oregon football team on the basketball court?
Top five, I got to go big. I'm going to go Kyle Casper.
There it is.
Emmanuel Pregnon, put him at the 5.
All right.
I'm going to go Isaiah World. Somebody that can move, shifty. I got to take DK.
All right.
Guard.
I like going big here, though, right? As the point guard distributing, are you a passer or shoot first point guard?
It depends. My guy ain't over. I'm taking the shot.
See, that's a perfect answer. That's a perfect answer. So basketball was your second love, though, behind
for
football?
Sure.
What about so you mentioned your brother playing basketball. What was that like growing up with your brother? Competitive household?
Yeah, like he was an elite player. I mean, he transitioned, went to U of H, left U of H, played overseas in Greece, so we just always used to talk, and I used to watch his game and be like, man, I'm going to be like him.
That's cool. So who's the best athlete in the family?
Me, of course.
All right. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, we got to get a timeout. Going to come back, talk a little defensive line. I'm going to ask you about offensive linemen, too. I like that you put 2 O-linemen in your basketball starting 5. That was kind of you to go to the other side of the ball. And a wide receiver.
For sure.
Kind. Bear Alexander with us. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Throw it into the end zone. Was it caught? Yes! Touchdown,
to the action in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son?
Bear Alexander, we're back. It is the Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mac in the Country Financial Studio. All right, I have to ask you about offensive linemen. I have a lot of respect for a defensive lineman that offers some respect to an offensive lineman, putting him on the basketball court. So now I have to ask you the most serious question that I will ask you today, and that is, do offensive linemen hold you on every single play?
No doubt.
Yeah. I feel like that's what every defensive lineman says, because it's true, right? It's only holding if they throw the flag.
Yeah, and I tell the ref right off the rip, hey, ref, watch out for this guy.
Who have you battled with the most at practice since you've been here? What are those like in the trenches, those battles?
I say Poncho because I was 295 at the start of spring ball, and I ended up getting my weight back up and being 315. So just getting back to that nose position, getting that Poncho a lot.
All right, talking defensive line, what's Coach Tuioti like? What's it like playing for Coach Tuioti?
Coach T awesome, man. He always going to harp on the little things, and he come right in when stretch start like, hey, this is what practice going to be like.
Right.
Need you guys to attack it and break the stack.
All right, a little bit behind the broadcast. Coach Tuioti, I'm talking with him tomorrow, all right, for the pregame show, like you talked with Ryan last week for the pregame show. Give me a question. What should I ask Coach Tuioti tomorrow?
Ask Coach T. Really just anything personal. Like, ask him about his grandbabies for sure. You know, he love, like, anytime I walk in his office, he on the phone with them. So
He's a family man.
Yeah, he's a family man for sure.
He's a family man. All right, now Coach Lupoy, defensive coordinator. What's it like with Coach Lupoy?
Coach Tosh crazy too. You know, that's Lanning 2.0. But really, he told me as soon as I got here, like, I'm not here to be your friend. At the end of the day, everything is earned, not given. So just coming in and attacking it, and every day is an open tryout. Like he say that every day. No position is promised. You know, you get stuff taken.
Yeah, and to that point, then I was curious. Just you've been around, like we said, a lot of championship teams. What's the defensive line room like? Take us through it. Like, what's competition like on the defensive line?
Our D-line room is connected for real. You know, we do this thing called POU like every Thursday. We go out as a group, and the dinner's on one of the players. It changes every week, but, man, we tight for real.
That's cool.
And it's one of the closest groups I ever been a part of. I mean, you chill with the guys at Georgia. I chill with some of the guys at SC, but here, like, we really bond for real.
Why is that? I mean, can you put your finger on it? Like, why is that way around here?
That's just the foundation they built here, man. And, you know, it's pretty much that's what factors into the wins.
That's cool. All right, now, Rutgers, some keys ahead. What should fans know? What are some of the keys to success on the road against Rutgers?
You know, this a game, man. We gotta travel some miles, of course, but, you know, it's fun anytime we get to travel and go compete. So it's going to be a good one to tune into.
All right, last one for you. I want you to look back in time now. You can go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice. What do you tell 17-year-old Bear?
17, now 22. Man, just don't be impulsive. Don't be irrational. You know, when things don't go your way, you know, you got to learn and grow from it, of course, but just not be that irrational 17-year-old me. You know, I was a boy at the time, truthfully saying, and just not taking shortcuts.
It's good advice. Bear Alexander, with us here tonight. Bear, thanks for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
We're going to get time out, come back, thoughts on Rutgers. They say it's the birthplace of college football. I'm going to ask Jerry and Jorgie what the score of the first college football game was after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially. Like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about. More for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Go Ducks! Go Ducks!
Touchdown, Oregon! That quick! Oh, my.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you real.
Shout, let it all out.
Think they'll play it for us?
They're going to play the
nice.
theme song from The Sopranos.
Yeah,
How
about
about
that?
that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
Did you guys know the score of the first ever college football game?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
really?
did?
You knew?
Yeah.
What is it?
6-4.
Yeah. I asked Dusty on the show today.
6-4?
6-4.
Okay, I was going to say like 22
Now
to 5.
remember,
I was going to say some
remember
weird
you could
score.
not carry the ball nor throw a
No.
forward pass.
It was like
in the
rugby and
first
soccer.
football game.
Combination of rugby soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you couldn't
How about
carry
that?
the
Yeah.
ball.
But you could like kick it and slap it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the first college football game.
Huh.
It wasn't.
Rutgers was involved. Rutgers won.
It wasn't until 1880 Walter Camp instituted an 11-man squad. You could run the ball. I mean, all kinds of new rules were brought in 1880.
And then the forward pass.
10 years old.
Years later.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott.
1895
Yikes.
was the first
look
forward
at
pass.
this.
Yeah.
Just ignore him. Just ignore it. If I had a flag, I'd throw it at it.
You want one?
Oh, give me a flag.
You want one? Here.
Yes.
I threw
Yes.
a challenge flag at Scott earlier. You want challenge or yellow?
Oh, I want yellow.
Yellow?
You
Yeah.
guys.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I know
okay.
you're
It's coming. It's
you're-
coming in.
You're a college
Oh!
you're a college professor now.
Yeah, well.
I just felt like I was listening to a college professor over here.
Well,
and I'm the student in between two.
Look, he's the real professor.
Being educated on
He's the real
How about
professor.
This?
College football.
The first pass was an illegal pass. It was a punter who was going to get tackled, so he threw it to his tight end who scored. It was illegal, but the referee said, well, I never saw the pass. Touchdown, 70 yards. That was the first pass.
Probably
That I
so.
didn't know.
1895. 1906 is when John Heisman.
Wait a
finally-
second, you got notes here? Did you
Wow.
anticipate his question about the
No,
score?
no,
What's
I
the
just-
deal?
I just
Look,
researched
I came completely
Rutgers.
unprepared.
Look,
I really feel uncomfortable.
What
right
did
now.
you think? What I mean, when I'm
Research.
when I'm researching Rutgers, it's like the first thing that
Yeah.
pops
Oh,
up
it
is
is.
it's the birthplace of college
Yeah,
football, and
okay.
I go, well, I should figure that out about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Hey.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, I asked
Thank
Dusty
you
today. I said,
Thank you for this.
By the way,
Gentlemen,
Dusty
thank you.
nailed it. He guessed and
He
was like
guessed.
6-4,
He
and I was like, yeah,
guessed.
that was right.
And it
I
truly
couldn't
was a
believe it.
guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I believed him. I think he knew it at one point in his life.
Okay.
And then it, you dust
maybe
off
when
the
he was
file.
4 years old or something like that. So I don't know.
But yeah,
this
Rutgers.
is going to be a sellout. It's a homecoming game for Rutgers. They support their team, so it's going to be a good long road trip. But the Ducks have been there. See, this is the second time, so that's a big thing for me is that they know what this is going to be like.
I think it's also the intrigue of a school like that, Rutgers playing Oregon. I mean, those aren't two names that you just roll off the bus playing each other in a football game.
First time ever, yeah.
And, Oregon's become such a national brand, obviously, and here all of a sudden they're showing up in Piscataway, and it's just different, and I think there's going to be an intrigue that goes with that. And they do, Jerry. I think you said it very well. They support their team, and they're playing some good football.
I'm fascinated to see, seriously, how many Duck fans are there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a bunch.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the country.
Yes.
We just haven't been to.
Yeah. No, there will be. It'll be a great
I look forward to
representation
it.
everywhere we go. It's a dangerous team. They score points. They yardage. They throw the ball. They run the ball. Their defense pretty good. They take the ball away and they do not give the ball up.
Well,
so there's something in there that's got to give.
And it's interesting. I love what Drew Mehringer said about that. They've been in every game at halftime.
Yes.
And
Tied or led.
and there's an argument depending on how you look at things. Right. There always is. They could be 5-1. Just based on plays that didn't go their way, certain situations where maybe they feel like it got away from them. I mean, there's an argument there. So
they played a really good first half of football up in Seattle against Washington last week. It cost me my Iowa pick, leading at halftime.
Hey,
whatever.
It's a homecoming game. They're going to be fired up. They've got Oregon coming to town, all right? They got a top 10 team coming in. You always get up for those games. So
yeah, you do.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for them. And for Oregon, too.
What did we miss? We were talking and something happened. I don't know what it was. I don't trust Scott.
The coin.
That's the whole thing.
The coin picks first on Friday.
3:30 kickoff. We're on the air at, 1:30?
1:30.
Got it right for you here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Hey, thanks for being with us. Thanks to Drew Mehringer. And the Bear.
That's right.
We'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. God bless everybody.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.